Hola, bon dia, Carl Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show. Look, someone's scratching on the window to come into the show already. Who's this? Oh, it looks like it's Paul's cat out there on the... That looks like Portugal. I'm not entirely sure. There's a swimming pool in the background, isn't there? But send your pooch and pussy pictures in to the Good Morning Portugal show, if you will. And, of course, look, we have sunrises and sunsets. I think we'll come back to that one. That's looking more like a sunset in the Algarve from Paul this morning. However, it's morning or moving on the Good Morning to Portugal. Let me just, I'll rewind and come again. It's weird because I've had a really good night's sleep and a nice hot bath this morning, which is most unusual in recent times. So I should be relaxed and absolutely fit and ready for this, but I made a complete mess of that. Let me try that again. It's moving to Portugal Thursday on the Good Morning Portugal show. Phew, did that okay. And here to join me this morning to talk about their experiences are Jack from, well, recently in Portugal, and Andy, who's been here for a while. Good morning to you both.
Hola.
You well? Tudo bem?
Tudo bem, yeah. I need to brush up my Portuguese.
You can tell she's been practicing. So let's do some quick introductions and we'll go and say hello to everybody who's joined us already in the comments this morning. Jack, you are from Torquay originally. I mean, I mentioned that because I came from Devon before we came to Portugal. So lovely part of the world to leave from southwest of England. So where have you landed? And quite recently, I think, in Portugal.
Yeah, so we've been here 2 weeks now. And we are in Santiago de Cacém, down in the Alentejo. Really nice property. We just probably, I think, we've been to the Algarve probably about 25, 26 times. And we really, obviously wanted to retire here. And our original plan was to come by car, but all our plans changed. So we've had a little bit of trying to get ourselves sorted out on what we want to do. But yeah.
All right, we'll come back to that then. Is that little plot twist in your adventure to Portugal? I think Andy, you've been here for 2 weeks. I think Andy's been here for a couple of decades almost. Andy, good morning to you.
Yeah, all right there. Yes, bon dia, everybody. 17 years. And then we bought the property probably 2 or 3 years before that as a sort of holiday thing. And then I took early retirement in my late 30s, luck and hard work. And been here ever since. And we're sort of halfway between Coimbra and Aveiro. Just about 20 minutes from the coast, halfway between Coimbra and Aveiro. Had come over with 2 young kids. One was about 6, my daughter, and my son Austin was about 8 or 9, and then went to school here. Went all through the Portuguese public school thing, and la-di-da, fantastic, living the dream.
Story. Yeah, what a story to be able to tell. You're also the man who sends in the occasional picture. These are we should call you Gordon, I think. All these gourds in the front garden of this is your part of town, isn't it?
This is my manor. That's round my manor.
Look at those. What is actually going on there?
Oh, mate, they're everywhere. They're fields of harvesting all their produce. Yeah, it's fantastic. Every year they're like that. Every year I walk past that place, and that one's it's stacked with them. I don't know where they come from. It ain't got a very big field. You can see in the background, but they seem to snaffle them up, and you're very, very popular bobras here. Super de bobra. That they make a jam out of it. They feed their animals with them. Yeah, it's very, 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 very popular there.
Well, it looks to me like you're going to be all right for Halloween anyway. So absolute mine of information is Andy, and we're going to be talking about education because that's such a good angle that you're able to talk about this morning, Andy, having put 2 kids through the education system. And Jack is here. Tell us about this. What happened with the car then, Jack? You were going to come by car, but you haven't done that. But you've got here anyway.
Yeah. So what happened was we sold our house at the end of October last year, and it was too close to Brexit, 31st of December, for us to come straight over, because Chris had to hand in 6 weeks' notice, which is would have left us probably at about 17th or 18th of December to get ourselves over here. So we decided we knew some of the rules would change, and we decided we would drive over on the 31st of March. Both retire, come over then. And then on the 1st of February, they changed the rules, and we had to have a visa. And we probably found that out probably on the 10th of February. So we were like, okay, so we now need to apply for a visa, and it has to be from our home country. So we did a lot of research on that, and obviously went on a lot of websites, found yours, Carl, which is fantastic. Lots of information, valuable. And we saw Gilda on there one day. And because we're both working full time, we were like, it's a lot of work, and it's just nice that someone helps you, basically. So we used Gilda and her team, and they wanted a couple of documents, and they're like, they've all got different addresses on. But because we'd moved house and we were in a rented, and then we knew from the 30th, the rental was to the 30th, we had to get another rental. And I thought, we have to have one consolidated address. So we had to change all our paperwork, had to be to this one address. We sent some bank information in, and they wanted it as a joint account, and we only had one joint account. And the joint account, we wanted to put the money in, they closed it at the bank and weren't using it anymore. And then we put all the house money in one bank account, and the bank rang me and said, you can only 85,000 is protected, you need another account. So we had to open 2 bank accounts, let alone trying to open a bank account in Portugal. Anyway, it took a long time to get all our paperwork sorted. I would probably tell you it took us probably about 2 months, because it's a lot of back and forth, and opening bank accounts takes weeks and weeks, and obviously going through the apostille process as well. And that was another issue, because the notary forgot to sign one of our documents, and that takes 10 days. And it came back, and we had to work out what the problem was, and she missed one. And so then we had to wait another 10 days. So 2 months later, we eventually had all our paperwork sorted. And we did a lot of research on the car. Can we bring the car over? How much is it going to cost? What are all the taxes? And there's a lot of scare stories where people have brought it over and were paying thousands, 5,000, 7,000, 8,000, whatever. And I was like, we're going to end up paying so much money. Is it really worth it? The idea was that we would sail to Santander, drive down straight through Portugal, stop in 4 or 5 times so we could visit lots of places and not just quickly just bomb to the Algarve, our favourite. Because I think if you're going to live in another country, you need to explore all the places, all the towns, all the villages. And we didn't want to be in a complete expat area where everybody just speaks English, because I'm a bit like, if you're going to live in another country, you need to speak the language. I think that's only polite, really.
Absolutely.
So when we eventually, right at the last minute, so we rented where we are now so that we could travel down, and we are probably about an hour and a half down from Lisbon, and then we could also go further down in the Alentejo and explore more areas, and then eventually go to the Algarve and try and make a decision about where we want to live. Obviously, our money will stretch further if we're more in central Portugal. And so this is do we just want to end up in an apartment with a balcony? No, we want a quinta with a little bit of a garden, a bit of space. So it's kind of a difficult decision. So we've ended up here thinking, we chose not to bring our car. Because it's left-hand drive, right-hand drive.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
A bit scary overtaking.
I just open the door and go, and hopefully it works. It's what I do. So we chose not to bring the car because for lots of reasons. But then so we Googled where we are now, thinking, oh, we can get on the bus and go and explore a couple of towns nearby. But actually being here, possibly a little bit isolated because we haven't got a car yet, and we need to go through the process of exchanging our driving license, and that's what we're trying to sort out at the moment. So yeah, it's sort of, you know, it's all swings and roundabouts, isn't it? And we just kind of try and stay positive. We're in a little village and trying to speak. Every time I go out and speak to all the old ladies in the street as we go to the supermarket, they must think that mad English woman keeps trying to speak Portuguese to me. But yeah, so it's just trying to stay on track, not to try. I mean, I had a few days where in the UK, because where we rented, the linen was washed and brought to us every Saturday, all clean towels. Everything. It was really, really. And here, there's no spare linen. And then the kettle broke, and she's like, "I'm not replacing the kettle." And I'm like, "What?" But in the UK, that's what you expect. And here, I didn't know that wasn't going to happen. So it's just.
Very, hold on a minute, Jack. That sounds very irregular. Let me call the ambassador. I'm not having this.
I mean, it's fine. Chris is like, "Oh, we'll just go and buy one because we're going to take it with us wherever we go." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And I got I had about 2 days where, right, I'm moving. We're going to rent somewhere else. We're just, you know, we're going to go to the Algarve where we know. But I'm like, you know, stop. You've just got to stay on the path you're on. You've got to stay positive. You've just got to explore living slightly inland, because we're in Turkey, as you know. We live 5 minutes from the beach. We just walk there every day. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like the Algarve. So yeah. So I'm trying not to get to the Algarve too quickly, because I do want to explore more of Portugal. So I've got no idea where we're going to end up. I mean, a lot of people come over, they've got a property, they decide to retire here, or they're buying a property. We are not those people. We're the people who've retired and got no idea where we want to live. So I feel a bit like a little bit of a rolling stone. Where am I going to be? What am I going to do? And it's just trying to get all those experiences and learn and grow as a person, not to just immediately want to get to my destination of.
No, you got to look at different reasons where you want to live. Look at, like you say, the terrain. Look at, like you say, if you want to be close to a city, and then gradually, slowly narrow it down, innit, if you can.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those processes. And I think we can't do loads until we get a car. But we've been on the bus a few times, and there's a few more towns nearby that we can go to on the bus and explore different areas. And we've only been here 2 weeks, so I'm not pushing myself to sort of, you know, make any major decisions. And, you know, we're just trying to enjoy the journey and, you know,
Jack,
learn Portuguese on the way.
Bless you. You deserve a holiday. And you're in the right country for it. It sounds like you've been on a right old adventure, and it's easy for me and Andy. I think Andy was at one point while you were talking, is like, whew, because looking back 17 years ago, you didn't have any such trouble, did you, Andy? Did you just breeze over?
Well, we had to dip completely opposite of Jack. I fell in. My wife's family's from the north of, though they're all in France. The family comes from the north of Portugal, and I fell in love with the north of Portugal, and looked from up there, but bit too remote, bit too hilly, the hot, cold, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So we look on a map. We look down to. Didn't fancy the Algarve so much. Came up to Lisbon, lots of money. So, and also we like cycling, and we like the beach. And we like you want. We wanted a quinta, and we wanted a bit of land, and living the expat dream, swimming pool and all that. And so then we come down from the mountains, up from Lisbon, and boff, Aveiro. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Put a pin in Aveiro. Went to visit the wife's sister, who was at university in Viseu. Stayed there, came in the car, came in a car, slept a little hire car, one of them little tiny Fiat things back then, and slept in it, and drove down here, slept in it, driving around. And of course, there weren't like the estate agents that there are now. You would look in newspapers, and then you'd get to some sort of like offices that you would go into the office to meet these agents. Sort of were in offices. They didn't have like shop fronts. That's about where it's at. So you go in, and there's Donna Christina, and all in their black coats, and lots of Mercedes driving you to see £1 million houses. Because you're English, they think we had pots of money and drove us around. And we want to go to Gafana Nazir, which is a place in Navarro, which looks great by the sea on a map, fantastic. Didn't have Google Earth in those days, so you couldn't really see too much on it. It was just like a map. And so we went down there. Oh my God, it's like an industrial centre of the world. You know what I mean? Awful, terrible place. It's where they, not awful, terrible, but it was very industrial, where they process all the fish and cod and all that sort of. So there's lots of factories and all that. Oh no, awful. So then we moved out. Yeah, great if you love sardines. And bacalhau, they have a bacalhau festival there. It's very nice actually. So we then went and looking in newspapers and things like that, and got taken all over the place, and ended up here. And there was a place up the road. The place up the road. Problems with the water, and we wanted a pool, and we wanted water out the ground because so we ended up and ended up buying it. But yes, it's sort of similar to you, but very different. Coming from that end, and you're coming sort of up from that end, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's just trying to get a compromise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get some help here this morning for sure. Not that you need it, because you've done an admirable job. You're among the first of the British D7 visa people, which puts you in the same boat.
Yeah, never had any of that. See, and you came at a time, like you say, with the car. There was so much uncertainty. People, like you say, these horror stories about. We got caught in that horror story. There were horror stories, like you say, about taxes and import duties, and then the yearly tax. And there's, like you say, there was lots of things when you're coming over now, and maybe think about Brexit and things like that, things that maybe weren't quite so true, and bit scaremongering and headline grabbing sort of stuff. But slowly catchy monkey.
I think. The different stories and different times in history of your transition over here. But I think a shared love of Portugal is what we're warming ourselves around this morning.
And the Portuguese, the Portugal and the Portuguese, the people, fantastic.
Let's see if there's a few Portuguese people who are watching and ready to give a little bit of help and support here. Not the first one we're talking to. She's from the Netherlands. That's Andrea, who's here every morning and hasn't got unnoticed. Andrea, good morning. Bon dia, Portugal family. Look at that. We are all
mia familia.
Yeah, mia familia. Wishing you all the best day. Deagle McKillen, also very good attendance at the moment, Deagle. Bon dia, Carl, from the blue skies of Belfast. That makes a change from yesterday. No rain, so sitting outside with a coffee. We had a right old downpour in Lisbon yesterday.
Yeah, we had one yesterday morning.
It was actually really nice. Mark, bon dia, sadly just arrived back in the UK from Porto. A bit of saudade there for you, Mark. Sorry to hear that, but I hope you had a great time. Back in Norfolk by the sound of it. Tempted to get on the next flight back. This is our shared love of Portugal, isn't it? Good morning from Tom as well. Bon dia, have a good day. Today's topic sounds very interesting, as they always are. Thank you, Tom, for that. Thanks in advance. Yeah, having a chat here with Jack and Andy about their respective experiences of coming to Portugal 2 weeks ago and nearly 2 decades ago in Andy's case. A quick hola bon dia to all. Eric J's here. Our last day in Lisbon, visited Sintra yesterday and head to Porto tomorrow morning. Have a great day. We didn't get that coffee or non-alcoholic beer, did we, Eric? I don't know. Let's see if there's time still today. Good morning, Portugal. Oh, good morning, Portugal. Bon dia, Portugal. Go, Jack, says Natalie Gray, and happy birthday on Saturday. Is this somebody
you know? Natalie.
Who's this then?
Now, where we are, we're sort of like, it's like a quinta, and we are sort of in like a quarter of it at the back, and it's like a big farm area, which is probably why there's lots of mosquitoes. But Natalie lives at the other end of the farm, and they've converted one of the buildings there. So Natalie's from America, and she's kind of on the same property that we are. So we've become friends.
Isn't that great? Fantastic. That's
good. We're helping each other out because we're both in the same boat.
Yes, and happy birthday to you for Saturday. Belated birthday best to Arwen from Aromatica, who was celebrating her birthday yesterday. We had a great day, Arwen, from our community as well in central Portugal. Drew is here from Australia. It's an hola bon dia de Australia. And okay, we got it, Drew. And the air is a bit thin here today. Okay, so gasping for breath in a very hot Australia by the sound of it. Hola, bon dia from Peñascoso. Very misty across the valley. Should be able to work outside again today. What are you on with, Paul? What are you making? There is a demand for good builders, around Portugal. Hey, Andy. Greetings from lovely, warm, sunny day, 19 degrees. Not quite Portugal, but not complaining. And I don't know if you were here when we showed this pic earlier on. Who is this, Paul? You sent that in, and we've got a lovely Algarve picture from you this morning. I think that's in Portugal, with that cat scratching on the patio doors there by the pool. Back to your comments. Cindy B. Hello, Cindy. And Cindy's in again. Hola, bon dia, alegria. An overcast Val d'Asteranya. I think that's probably Cal d'Asteranya, unless Cindy B has renamed it. She's, feeling at home there and has renamed the town. Bon dia from Stephen. Hey up, Stephen. Stephen! And hola, bon dia. Adoros from France this morning from Cape Town, South Africa. Bon dia, alegria from Anna Olsen, also down there in the Algarve. And Owen. Hello, Owen. Bon dia, Senor M. A todos tenham ótimo day. So wishing us a great day. How are you doing, Owen? And I hearing great things about your cooking, mate. When are you going public with that? Do let us know. Druba, whose birthday it was 2 days ago, I think. Is that the plasterers? Are they making a noise? He's got the builders in, right, Andy?
Oh, I think he's got a dog nipping at his ankles out there.
Oh, is that your dog? Do you need to go?
Good God, no, it's a neighbour's dog.
Sounds like The Simpsons, doesn't it? Said the dogs.
Yeah. Send the dogs. Send out the hounds.
Good morning, guys, from Citrus Farming family. Hope you had a great day as well the other day, Druba. Jack and Andy, I'm envious, says Paul. Can't wait to get there soon. Soon I'll be in the Algarve, You kept that quiet, Paul. Also in the comments, good morning, everyone from Gemini and from Australia as well as Drew. Hello from Australia. Just started the process of getting a NIF and bank account sorted. We'll come back to more of those comments in a little while. So it sounds like you obviously got your NIF, Jack, and your bank account now.
Yeah. Well, Gilda and her team sorted that out for us, and they're amazing. Great group of people to use. And I think, you can do it yourself. And I know people who have done it for themselves, but it's just when you're really busy and you've got really busy lives, it's just that little bit of help that they tell you every single document, and it's going to be right. Having said that, I did have a little bit of an experience when we went to the SEF office in London, where I had my P60 original document as told, handed it in to the lady, and she went, no. And I went, do you mean it's original? She went, no, it's not acceptable. And because the wage slip was the old-fashioned one, do you know where they're perforated around the edge?
Oh, yeah.
And a window in and where it shows your name and address. And that you open that up and that was your P60, and she just went, no. And I was like, really? And when your brain just freezes, I'm in the middle of London with no printer, and you never think about your printer, do you? Because we used to have one, and then we both work in offices where you print all your documents out. And she just looked at me, and then and I'd missed one thing, because I have Jackie, or on most of my documents, on the travel insurance that we did last, I'd put Jackie, and she said, it has to say Jacqueline, like your passport. And she handed them back to me.
Oh, yeah.
And she said to me, right, you can go and sort those out now. And Chris was fine. His was perfect, of course. And I was like, I walked out of there, and I'm in the middle of London. You don't go very often. You've got all the high-rise buildings. My phone wouldn't work. I couldn't get a signal. And when you're on your own, you just think, what could I do?
Yeah, what did you do?
I was just like rabbits in the headlights. So I managed to walk to get a space and phone and get my the travel insurance sorted. She said, I'll email it to you. I said, I need it now, not next week. I need it now. I need it now. I was like, I'm not going back on the train to Torquay. Thank you.
I'm going to camp out at the office.
Yeah, and then she said, as I was getting up to go, she goes, there's a printer in a shop down the street. So I went back into the office, into the SEF office, and the guy shouted at me, use the hand gel. And I was like, oh my God, this is so scary. So I went back and I said, please, could you tell me where there is a printer in a shop so I can print this document? And he just went, it's over there. And he just pointed straight into the street.
Into London. It's in there, in London.
So what about it? And I'm just looking up and down the street. All you can see is office block, and they're like, 20 stories high. And I'm like,
Office is full of printers. What's the matter with you?
I saw there was a lady standing in the street, right? So I thought, I'll go over there and ask her if she knows where there's a shop. There's definitely no shops in this street. I know there's this tiny little shop tucked away, and it had on the window about downloading their app, and you would use their printer. So I went and checked, is it okay if I, just follow what it says on the window. So I did it, and I went in there, and he got to my doc. Sorry for the hand signals. Got to printing off my document, and he ran out of ink on his.
Yeah. It's a calamity of disasters.
And I just got out into the street, and I'm just like, and then Chris came out looking for me. He's ringing me, and I said, "You won't believe it, but he's run out of ink. How am I going to print this document now?" And Chris, of course, Mr. Calm and cool. We'll just go back to the hotel. So, unfortunately, we booked a hotel very close to the SEF office. So we walked back to the hotel, but it was definitely Mercury retrograde, Carl. Definitely.
I'm with you.
Yeah, we got to the hotel. Oh yes, I can print that out for you. And where their system was set up differently, and it missed off the beginning of my name.
Oh my God, I'm sweating here, Jack. Come on, get to the end. Did you do it?
Sorry. Anyway, they had 2 printers in the hotel. She tried all 3, and eventually I got my document. We legged it back to the office, stood and queued, and handed them to the lady, and we were fine. Chris then very kindly grabbed my hand, took me to the nearest pub, and bought me a G&T, because I was like,
oh my God, I thought you were going to have to come over on a migrant boat or something. It was awful. She's an illegal immigrant. What's she doing there?
Honestly, it's just so stressful. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway,
I want to know if you got a smile in the end from the lady.
Yes, eventually she sort of looked at me and was a bit, "It's okay." And I went, "Are you sure?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's okay."
Yeah. Welcome to Portugal.
Yeah, it was a bit of an experience, to be honest. A bit of an experience.
She meant well under that rather stern exterior, I suspect.
Yes.
Well, what a story. And this is straight from a movie called Moving to Portugal.
Yes, fantastic.
Who's going to play you in that movie then, Jack and Chris?
I don't know. Who knows? It was a drama. That's all I can tell you. It was a bit of a drama.
I think Chris might have an answer for that. Is that him sniggering in the background?
Yeah.
All right.
He's going to come in.
Who's going to play her in the movie, Chris? Hello.
I don't.
Your Portuguese furniture. Well, while Chris is working now, because it would make a great film, I think. Our American viewers will be glad to know that we have got Austin Powers here. And that's how he'll sound to you, Will Andy from the UK. With his Cockney accent, and they'll be practicing those over there in America, won't they? And I love it when you hear the Cockneys talk, when you hear the Americans talking in a British accent. So we'll have to get some of those. Maybe send that through via WhatsApp on 913-590-303. Austin,
baby, yeah.
Now you remember him. Okay.
I was always Cliff Richard.
Yes, actually.
I used to get the Cliff Richard. Yeah, that was especially over here.
Could you do that again, please?
Got myself a crying, walking, sleeping, talking, living the heart.
Brilliant, Andy.
Uncanny. And you'd never guess he was in a punk band in 1983 as well. We're talking about that. Yeah, Project Frugal from New Zealand, Bon dia, from a cold 9 degrees central New Zealand, enjoying the stories. They got better since you posted that at 9:09, Vinny. Good morning from Tamar, a bit damp today, but still beautiful as Tamar always is, Maria. Good to have you here with us this morning. Grant Wilson, still haven't figured out how I'm supposed to get a 12-month lease organised in 3 to 4 months in advance of arriving. Yeah.
Ask Jackie. She'll tell you. Camp out at the offices.
Yeah.
Let her husband in. Yeah.
They've got a great place in the Alentejo that might be free soon, but bring your own kettle. I think
Yeah.
that's the thing to do there. Marty, bon dia to you all, lovers of Portugal. Brrr, from a chilly Alaska, midnight here as Wednesday gives way to Thursday. Wow, Marty, 10 out of 10 for your effort this morning. Grant Wilson, but I know it'll fall into place. Nice and warm here on the Gold Coast of Australia. Yeah, paradise there, mate. And of course, as Jack has been saying, you know, it can get a bit tense at times, but it all figures out in the end there, as we discovered.
It gets tense when, like you say, you're trying to do it all at the same time, which you have to do all at the same time, obviously, but there's a lot. And then afterwards, it's like, Shangri-La, you know, there's nothing to do then, is it? But like you say, it's like a month or so of heavy duty messing about, but then after that, it's all good.
Well, I kind of freaked out a bit afterwards as well.
No, don't go there. I can't take it no more.
And then let's
I was told 3
Yeah,
months.
let's just do it.
We weren't expecting to hear until like mid-August, and then we got except after 3 weeks, and I went 3 weeks, and I was like, oh my god! So it was just sort of another panic moment then at 3 weeks, you know.
Yeah, things that you think are going to take a lifetime take 5 minutes, and things you take 5 minutes take a lifetime.
Yeah, there's some good advice. There's some good advice from a man who's been here for 17 years. So, I mean, and that's a difficult situation to be in, isn't it? And you say, are you sure it's ready? And the officials are going, do you want me to delay it a little bit? No, it's fine. Paul, we opened a bank account in Portugal from the UK with Millennium. Done so easy with Zoom. Fully recommend that. Okay, well done. So Millennium will do that via Zoom. That's good to know. And other people we say, I wish I'd known that before. Maxine Williams here.
Is that Millennium the one that's in London? Or is that another one? It's like a Portuguese bank that's got a head office in London, isn't it?
It's true. They do have a head office. But they have an office in London. And I was told, I was sharing that as a hack because somebody said to me, yeah, you just go and do it in London. But actually, you're technically opening a British bank account, I think, or a British-based bank account, which is not necessarily okay. So I think that's why Paul's done it via Zoom with a Portuguese, and he will elaborate on that, I'm sure. So, morning, Maxine. Morning, Thunderduck. Great to see you. Bon dia, alegria. And Thunder's saying it took me over 2 months to get an appointment for my driver's license photo. So that's here. That's on this side.
Take your helmet off, Thunderduck. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's why Andy's here with all the top advice. That was 2 weeks ago. Still waiting for the license now. And I think you're saying this as well, Andy, or you said it before. The things that you think might take that should be easy. Just go in, swap my license over, have a photo taken, do a fingerprint or whatever. No, a lot of people are finding this with IMT.
And some do and some don't. You go into one office and it's doddled, another office, it takes a lot. It even gets down to the clerk behind the office door sometimes.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's
always
why
smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Smile and wave. And you can't be too effusive with the smiling and everything. Otherwise, you look like a sort of grinning fool, which I often do. You've got to get that smile just about right, haven't you? No, don't be sternly faced and stern, but don't be too over the top with your enthusiasm for the process. There's a someone
on the show gave a very good tip about you've got to if you're having problems, don't make it be their problem. Say to them, it must be awful working in a place like this, under all these rules and regulations you've got to stick to. Make it so it's not a personal attack on them, but it's to do with the system, and it tends to grease the wheels a little bit more. Yeah, I like that.
That's a kind of Cliff Richard thing to say, isn't it, as well? I can imagine Cliff actually saying that. Yeah. In Portugal, if you break it, you fix it. So hopefully nothing will go wrong with the central heating while you're there.
Well, you just fix everything in Portugal because no one else will fix it for you.
Yep. So take your PTFE tape and a couple of spanners. If you experiment in Tomar, you will have a beach, but you will not have a beach, but you'll have lots of nearby river beaches. Thanks for that. Flying the flag for Tomar. Is that on your list, Jack, of places to visit?
Yes. Caldas de Reina, Tomar, and slightly where you are, Carl, I believe.
Well, I'll be back in San Martinho de Porto.
San Martinho de Porto, yes.
This is the lady you need to speak to if you haven't already. Valerie Spencer-Bex is here. Morning. Another lovely day here in San Martinho de Porto, although a wee bit muggy. A lovely spot to be regardless of the weather. You're so right there, Valerie, at Spencer-Bex. She's absolutely the lady to know if you want to have a look around there. And I'm sure has got a few tips for you in Caldas de Reina as well. And you're looking for listings as well, Valerie, yesterday. They've been so successful there at Spencer-Bex that they need more gaffs to sell. So if you're looking to sell on the Silver Coast, Valerie's your woman. Ton and I are heading to Portugal October the 1st. Central Portugal is the plan, but we are open. We will explore. Yes, Andy is a big.
Don't leave me here alone. Don't leave me here alone. Carl's deserted me. The only other, there was an English guy here, and he's just died of dementia. So now I'm back on my own again.
No.
Poor old Roger. Poor old Roger.
Had he been in Central Portugal for a long time? Sounds like a
well, apparently so. But I've been here. Well, probably about 10 years. I've been here, thinking I was the only English guy around here. And then I was walking on one of my walks, and I was walking. No, that must have been only a couple of years ago. And then I'm walking by this font, middle of nowhere, and there's good morning. Jesus, how would some guy in middle of nowhere, let alone say hello to me, but say hello to me in English and know I'm English? I do look a bit. Good morning, Cliff, he said, and it turned out to be this Roger, and it was because he had dementia. Apparently, he just spoke to everybody in English. And then, unfortunately, I got him at the beginning, so we were able to have some conversations. But then he's got a lovely South African wife. Sailed around the world, mate. Fantastic stories, brilliant. Wow. It's such a shame. Built his own boat, built his own plane. Lots of stuff all over the place. Anyway. And then I got him right, and then he declined very quickly. And then, unfortunately, I was out walking the other day, spoke to his wife, and unfortunately, he passed in his sleep. Which
sounds like an amazing legend.
Yeah. He was a lovely bloke, and she's lovely. But so I only knew him for about a year or so, and that was that really. And couldn't really see him too much through the pandemic either, because he's an old geezer with health problems, all that sort of stuff. So. Yeah, a bit of a shame. So I'm back in the child again. So come to the Central Portugal.
Well, okay, give us a.
Or maybe I'm the reason why no one's coming. I don't know.
Well, yeah, Andy, I don't know how we break this to you. And was it the white socks and sandals that he saw at the
Mate, I don't know what's going. Hey, nothing wrong with white socks and sandals. Well, black socks and sandals.
That's what gives you away as the English bloke.
I think that might have been, and the knotted hanky on my head, the scarlet skin.
You've got to stop that. So Andrew saying we will explore and find the best place for us. Ideally, lots of land and a ruin or converted ruin. Now, it's a good moment to sing the praises of Aveiro. And most people do think of the Ovos Molos and the barges up by the the Venice of Portugal, as they call it. Although, as Jerry says, interestingly, in Venice, they don't have the Aveiro of Italy as a sign there. But Aveiro is a very splendid.
Yeah, they've missed a trick there, haven't they? Hey, they've missed a trick there. I tell you what, mate.
Yes. You're about, 30 or 40 minutes south of Aveiro, the tourist area. Tell us about this part of Aveiro then, and the bargains and the lifestyle and all the great things that people miss, I think. Not many expats about your area today.
No. And I don't know why, because one of the reasons we come here is because we could get the size of the property. So, 7-bedroom, 5-bathroom, swimming pool, tons of land with a field stuck on the back of it. All very nice and lovely and up together. We're 20 minutes from the beach. We're half an hour from Aveiro, half an hour from Coimbra. And that was 100, this was, like I say, a few years ago. But they haven't gone up that much in this area, to be honest. It's probably, you could probably buy it now for 120 grand.
What?
Which is crazy. And you've got your own your own water in, from a come
well.
on, Andrew. Yeah, underground stream, whatever it's called. Come on.
Borehole.
Yeah, borehole, and and a soak away. So living expenses here. That's one of the other things. It's just incredibly economical to live here. Everything's you go out, everything's cheap as chips. You can have your Prata de Dias. You're looking at about $6.50 for your starters, mains, desserts, wines, coffees, sniffs, everything. You can have the whole lot. That's what they call it. You go, look, yeah. Always after it. Yeah, there he is, having it large with the lads.
having one of his 6.50 lunches by the look of it.
Oh, that was fantastic. That was, and compadre, because I don't know his real name. He's my mate's compadre, so I call him compadre. Compadre paid for the lot because it's his birthday. Lovely, good lad. Yeah, a sniff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's like what I was trying to tell. That's a tradition here. It's the person whose birthday it is that pays for everything. Like in England, you've all got to buy the geezer around. Over here, it's all the opposite. They take it. Actually, he's raised the bar a bit there. I'm not too happy because it's my birthday soon, and I'm not too happy about that because I don't know what he's thinking. But he's raised the bar. Normally, it's not quite as heavy duty as all that. It's a burger and a few beers and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, he raised the bar a bit there, so I've got to compete. Coffee with a sniff, cafe con cheirinho. Sniff is the aguardent that they put in. So whenever you ask for a coffee, you say, I have cafe cheio, which is a large little coffee, con cheirinho. Cafe cheio con cheirinho. Then you get.
Oh, little.
And of course, if you're at the market and the lady's pouring it, you always tip the bottle of her bottle for her. Get it in there, boy.
What did you? Let's whet our appetites for lunchtime here.
What
did you have?
There we had the fried ribs and chips and bread and olives and feijoada. A month before was the geezer in the yellow t-shirt, Manel. It was his birthday, and we had fantastic stuff at his one. He had a huge pig's ear grilled on a barbecue with a load of garlic sauce and all that. Fantastic. I had eels, aiguage, something like that. Eels. Someone will tell me to get it right.
Yeah.
Eels. And what we had? We had something else that was fantastic as well. Some other local crayfish as well. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, lovely. And lashings of mate. So some bloke on the other bar with some local geezer turns up and he's drinking this stuff, funny coloured beer. I'm a real ale guy, so we used to come to the markets here, and all they sell is Superbock and Sagres. Back then, they didn't even used to have much for the Pretters and all that sort of stuff. And I used to, and the white beer, and I like my ales. I used to see that at the markets, and they'd have ale, look like ale to me. Oh, lovely chubby. I want some of that. I said to my wife, get me some of that, because she, fellas the Portuguese, and yeah, lovely. And so she gets it. No, it's the Martini Conservasia, which is massive here. Yeah. They even have the little bottles of martini, red martini. They pour that in first, then they chop it up with beer. Rocket fuel, mate. Fantastic stuff. That is lovely. Oh, mate, round here, if you're in Korea, they would have all had it. Yeah, they do Martini Conservasia and they do Pavaish Conservasia. Pavaish is similar. It's like a bit cheaper for my local boys. Yeah. We have it. Yeah. Anyway, these other geeks would drink this weird stuff, and we just said, "Oh, what is it?" And next thing we know, some just random guy, he bought a whole table, pints of them, canekas of them, of this stuff, and it was awful. It was beer. It was awful. Beer with blackcurrant and Coca-Cola. Beer with blackcurrant and Coca-Cola. Oh, mate. Yeah, that pig's ear was going to make a second appearance. I tell you, mate. That was.
I wanted to check that with you. Literally, that was a pig's ear that your friend had there.
Yeah. Huge. Where this place is, unfortunately, because I'm upstairs in the penthouse, the cards downstairs. It's a middle of nowhere. It was by a big lake here called Fermentelos, and at Fermentelos is where they got because they get them fresh, the eels and the crayfish. They got them there. And the pig's ear. There's these swimming pigs, and it's a speciality of that place. They do the coal barbecues and they do the pig's ears and the other meats and stuff. All delicious. Deep fried.
You can imagine Ramsey, can't you, coming to Portugal, looking at his plate, going, "This looks like a pig's ear." It's like, Gordon, it is a pig's ear. The cat is a visitor in San Rafael. Let's get him or her back on the screen again so you can see what we're talking about there. Visitor exploring on the window, trying to get a little bit of food from. I wonder if Paul actually shared his dinner with this visitor in San Rafael. Yes, it was Portugal. Fantastic. And thank you, Andy, for that stunning sharing about your part of Portugal. I think that's going to put it even more on the map, isn't it? Lots of people are going to want to know where. I mean, are you thinking now? I've got to look there, Jack.
Yeah, I am actually. It sounds really interesting. I might have to give the pig's ear and the eel a bit of a miss.
No, you'll get into it. Yeah. I tell you, after a few of them cokes and beer and sorts of things, you'll eat anything. But the only thing with it is, I go out on my walks. I do like 10, 15 kilometres. I'll see maximum 2 people. You don't. Mind you, I'm keeping off the roads a bit, because obviously I don't want to get there. I'm a wanted man. But you don't see, and it is very quiet. It's lovely if that's what you like, if that's what you want. It's very lovely and quiet and tranquil and all that. But it is it's not remote as in we've got shops and cafes and bars and all that sort of stuff. But during the day they're all working, of course. They're not living the life of luxury. Like what we're living there, I believe.
Walking distance, don't you?
Exactly. And it's quite nice to have it walking distance. You don't want it on your doorstep, because otherwise you're just going out the front door and back in your front door again. It's nice to have somewhere to go for a walk to and a walk back to the cafe and wherever. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Right, so there you go. That's the Aveiro district. I think the nearest big town is Anadia, which has everything you want from a small town, and you can get to Aveiro or Coimbra very easily, as was my experience when I lived near Anadia.
Yeah, that triangle. You're right, Carl. If you do Anadia to Aveiro to Coimbra, that triangle there, fantastic value for
I shall Google it the minute we get off this show.
Yeah, get on your Googles.
I might be your neighbour soon.
Well, what have I done? Be lovely.
When are we joining you for a birthday lunch, did you say?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not having any of that. No, we're going English rules on my birthday. We're not having that Portuguese stuff. Oh, yeah, I can tell you. Yeah, I'm going to have to put my hand in my pocket there.
Dominique is here. Come on, you got a 7-bedroom mansion. Come on, man.
Oh, well, yeah, and at €6 a dinner. Yeah, hey, pushing the boat out there, mate.
Dominique's here. João Pereira is here as well. Bom dia a todos. Bem-vindos a Portugal. There's a special greeting for you from our very special friend João, who's just down the road in Lisbon, Jack. Mark, my condolences. Yes, on being back in the UK. Good morning, Portugal! From Andy there. Capricorn 12's here as well. Loves the Algarve. And yes, good morning to you, Andy. And Rebel Mama's here. Look, everybody. Bon dia from Peneda Gerês. We did talk about the north. You fell in love with the north, Andy. A gorgeous day again. Bit of rain on and off yesterday. But husband is still swimming every morning in our, in inverted commas, natural pool. A bit up the hill from us. Picked to you in WhatsApp. So let's take a look at that now. Here's hubby. In his we've actually, let me take that comment off because it's hiding the hubby. But they found their own little plunge pool up the hill. Isn't that beautiful?
Fabulous.
Perfect. Looks gorgeous.
Yep, no swimming pool fees to pay there. A completely natural. That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for that. We've got a calendar there, haven't we? The plunge pools of Portugal. And so we've already got September there. Thank you very much for that, Khadija.
There's a good website, a good Facebook page that tells you all about all the river beaches of Portugal. Something fluvial, la-di-da, Portuguese one. And every day they post, they even put the coordinates on there for you as well. Show you a picture of it and the coordinates of it. Lovely jubbly. Very good.
What's it called?
Something fluvial. I'll send it to you.
Fluvial, yeah, it's great. That's the word to look out for, isn't it? When you're driving about, if you know a river beach,
Praia Fluvial.
Praia Fluvial. There you go. Painting a few things and have a wardrobe to us. This is such an exciting life you live in here, Paul. I am the world's worst DIY guy. Send pictures. But I have Super Mario who does all of that for me. Very good. Everyone needs one of those, I think. I'm at work, says Andy. Could have fooled us, but wanted to say hello to all. What are you meant to be doing, Andrew? Loy Long, so many bossy types here. It is startling. What's that? That Loy is saying there. Airline tickets. Oh, is that the people in the offices? I think she's probably referring to there, right? Airline tickets booked, airport parking booked. Check. Looking forward to smelling that lovely Portugal cuisine. Yeah, sniffing a pig's ear soon. Whether you are in Portugal for 1 day or for 17 years, I wish you to feel welcome every day of your life here. This is a very. I mean, this is from João, but this is not uncommon to hear a sentiment of this kind.
No.
Welcoming somebody is not a one-time thing. It's a process, and it helps build a life. How about that? With all the stress, with all the recent stresses, Jack, isn't it nice to hear something like that from our very own?
Absolutely amazing. Yes. We did have that the other day because Chris, I posted, I think the other day, we spent the weekend looking for a bar or somewhere to watch the football. I don't know if you remember that, Carl. Anyway, we went for a walk on Monday, and there was a beautiful park. It had one of those water, with all the water fountains shoot up.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a really nice cafe in there. So we went in there, and Chris was ordering the drinks, and he noticed a television. So he asked the guy, do you show the football? And he goes, yes. He thought Chris supported Man United. He thought it's Chelsea. But anyway, we got over that one. And he said, yeah, as long as there wasn't a Portuguese match on, he could come in anytime and ask, and they would put the football on for him. And then we found our table, and later, about 10 minutes later, he came to our table and sat with us, and he got his phone out and he was showing us when all the matches were. You can't see this one on Saturday because Benfica was playing, but on Sunday, come in, we can watch Chelsea, we put it on for you. I mean, how nice was that? You would never get that in the UK. He just went out of his way to help us and to talk to us, and I thought that was really lovely.
You're not going to get that in Spoonies in Torquay, are you?
No,
I don't think.
Okay.
I feel your pain. I had those moments, says Louise, and was ready to change my name to Solo 50 Plus Thailand. But she
I think I've seen it on the internet.
Yeah, that's a different site, Andy. Bondia from John Gibson, Thunder and Drought, say hello to each other there. Paul, Jack, you should have said your brother-in-law was Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, president of Portugal. You could try that. You could try that, could you? That's worth
right next time.
Yeah. In case when my Dyson Hoover breaks down, I won't buy another. I will never drink in Wetherspoons based on their support for Brexit. Oh, hold on a minute. He's going off on a bit of a rant here.
Turned, didn't it?
Woo, easy. The owners did what was good for them, so I have to do what's good for me. Fair play, Capricorn. See you soon. João Ferreira, well said, sir. Just need to master meo lingua adulta. Yeah, you got your adopted language. You just try a little bit every day. You get better at it. Dzień dobry from Poland. Yeah, absolutely, Jack. How is it going with the language then?
Not the best, but I realised we didn't do enough before we came, and that is a big mistake. And I would advise everybody to learn more of the basics before you come. We've enrolled in Practice Portuguese.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pay. I was doing a meanie in the UK. I didn't want to pay for it. I thought I can learn it without. But so we're doing Practice Portuguese, and I think once a month there's another website, and I can't remember what it's called.
Get Mia. Mia does a free entry level as well, which is
yeah, I have seen that one. And there's also one where you can get a Portuguese teacher, and you can just book them for an hour, and so you can talk to them, and then you know that you're hopefully saying it correctly.
Yeah, because that's the skill, isn't it? And after 17 years, of course, Andy's absolutely fluent, aren't you, Andy?
Oh, mate, yeah. I tell you what's a bit different, or whatever here, in my experience, is that, like you say, you can speak it, and you speak it, it can be spoke relatively well. I find in England, we get all countries and all nationalities speaking English with all their various accents and twists, and we're used to bending our ear a bit. We can pick it out. In the central region, of course, they're used to speaking to Portuguese and only pretty much Portuguese, and so when they get some buffoon like me spluttering through their language, it's very difficult, and you're thinking, that's exactly what I said. They repeated back to me what I said, and because they're not so used to bending your ear. But after, if they can put up with me long enough, then they sort of like get to bend their ears a bit to the language, and then they get to understand, and then you can have a conversation, and then gradually it doesn't get any better. Actually, it just stays the same. You just add more beer and find someone that speaks English. Yeah.
Because you think you're saying it correctly. It sounds right in your ears, and then when the Portuguese person looks at you like, oh, I've said it wrong.
Yeah, well, sometimes they say, and they say it quickly, and they'll miss
Very
letters
quickly.
off the end and things like
Yeah.
that. And that's a nightmare. If you come in the middle of a conversation, you'll never know. If you come at the beginning, sometimes when I'm with my mates, I'll be there, and if I'll hear what they're talking about. But if someone else starts a conversation somewhere else, and then I move on to it, I'm like. And luckily, I've got my Beza Portuguese. Very good tip. Always get yourself a Beza Portuguese, keeper. And he can see by my face that I'm lost a bit because I'm not smiling and frowning at the right points. Oh, my mother died. Oh, no, that doesn't work. He'll then say to me, "Oh, they're on about that." And once you got the subject, once you know, then you're back in it again. You know, so it's just getting in there.
And the vowels, they seem to miss the vowels or say the vowels very quickly. And I'm like, is that an A or is it an E?
Yeah.
And it's just.
And I'm sure it's just the same for them, for us. I'm sure, I'm sure we do the same. We, use slang words and stuff. That's it's all good fun.
Hang on.
My tip, words. Okay. Sim, boys. If they're saying to you, go sing, boys, sing, boys, and then another one. And then if they look at you, what's he saying? You then go, muito complicado. That's it. That's all you need. Sim, boys, muito complicado. And
okay. So more tips from Andy on a monthly
full of it.
basis.
I am full of it.
On the Good Morning Portugal show. Now you can have your own slot soon. We can see what's going to happen here. Jackie should be played by Jennifer Aniston in the movie.
Oh no!
Wow, really?
Can I play your husband?
That sounds so wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But for Seth Barrow and small Seth branches don't know the latest rules, so the memos haven't got through necessarily. Go smaller is pretty good, actually. Good advice, generally speaking. Go to the provinces, and you'll get more cheerful service, I would have thought, as well, on occasion. I try to be complimentary about something personal, like nice nails. That's presumably to the ladies, but who knows? Thank you for that.
To your builder.
Your builder turns up. Nice nails. I missed. Where's he gone? I missed the beginning.
Prato. That's that dinner, isn't it? Prego, no prato. That's nail.
One of those. Very nice.
Nail on a plate.
Nail on a plate. Where is Andy based? Would you believe it, Louise? In Anadia, or not far from, near the world famous donkey racing, where middle-aged men sit on donkeys, right? And
he always says that.
Drunk. He always says that. Hey, thank you for wearing socks.
Yeah. Real men.
Michael Heron's here. Bom dia, alegria todos. Hey, Michael. Loving the temporary setup, Carl. Looks a bit like Sir Cliff Richard. So there you go. You missed the impersonation earlier on. For that, for his performance. Doll. I once took it to share with my work colleagues in the UK. It was a fun social experiment. Yeah. Like, how much sugar is in this thing? And egg? Aquifer. What's that? Oh, that's your...
that's me underwater. Well done.
That was a while ago, wasn't it? If Andy is wearing socks and sandals, then he's clearly a man of class and distinction. It divides the crowd, doesn't it?
I'm going to bring it back. It's going to be top fashion. You're going to see him walking on the catwalks of Milan with socks and sandals, mate, and Crocs. That's the way it's going.
Oh.
Do you let Chris go out? Do you let Chris go out?
No, my kids, they give me a right hard time. I only do it around the house.
No, not even in the house. Sorry.
Yeah, let's see.
I think it looks
fashionista. Jack's a fashionista.
No, there's just being
there's
correct, and Crocs don't do it.
Oh, Crocs, yes, no.
Crocs and socks. Now there's
Crocs. I tell you what, Crocs are good for. Crocs are good for going in the garden when you're feeding your chickens. Now, come on, wet grass.
Take them off.
Don't the chickens peck your toes through the holes in the Crocs?
Oh, mine got holes in. Have you got holes in your Crocs? Oh, hey? Mate.
Cheirinho. Yes, absolutely.
There you go.
With the little stuff of There's the thing to ask for. James, morning, Carl from a sunny Skipton. I know it's not really a question for today, but is the golden visa still available if you buy a property on the coast for more than 350,000? I believe it is, but there's a time limit on it. And look, you've come to the right place tonight. We're talking annual raise 7:30. Get on that webinar, and you can find out every question or every answer to every question you've got about that, James. So join us tonight on that one. Good timing. Didn't do that on purpose, I promise you. Okay, and Paul Richards, James. Tune in on. Oh, yeah, there we go. Well said. Thank you, Paul. I think Paul will be with us tonight as well. Beer, blackcurrant, and yeah, no drinking and texting on Zoom, everyone, tonight. You're a rum old bunch last Thursday. Yeah, beer, blackcurrant, and Coca-Cola sounds like a prank or a drink for teenagers, doesn't it? A Jim White born here. Yeah, it's 4 a.m. for Jim, and he overslept. Andy, how long have you been doing stand-up? Well, he's back again next month, folks.
I feel a bit like little Ronnie Corbett in the chair.
Yes. Well, it's so funny you should say that. The best beer in Poland. That's random, but excellent. Thank you very much, Barbara. Order a tishki wherever possible. The beer and cola was known as a muddy puddle back when I was at university. Sounds terrible. Tastes terrible.
Oh, yeah, I think I had a muddy puddle after.
Probably hits us. Before we go back to the rest of the comments here, and thank you for all of them. We were going to talk about education. You've educated your two children here. Could you tell us a little bit? Oh yes, the spreadsheet. Come on. Okay, everybody can go make a cup of tea now. Andy's doing a presentation. Apart from who hasn't got a kettle.
Jack hasn't brought any kids with her. It's going to be totally. Right, so school starts usually the second week of September and finishes at the beginning of June. There seems to be 12 years of that, going from the age of 3 up to the age of 18. Now, I can only tell you about my situation. Our kids went to the local primary school, and then they went to the local secondary school, and then they've both gone on to the college in Aveiro. My son, let's go through this. So there we go. The first cycle, or Primera, which we know as probably junior school, that is for years 1 to 4, and that is for ages 6 to 10. In year 4, they get a progress exam. And that's from 9 a.m. to about 3:30. It all depends on where you are in Portugal and all that, your camera. You get some extra activities on those, which can be music, languages and sport, that sort of thing. Then the second ciclo, as they call it, is which is secondary school. The first part of it is 5 to 6, and then that covers 10 to 12-year-olds, and they're half a day a week. The school kind of shuts, and it's they have clubs like volleyball, basketball, those usually run by the school or teachers within the school, or they get someone in. And then the next is the third cyclo, which is 7 to 9, and that covers 12 to 15-year-olds. Then at 12 years old, that's when and all of these are. It used to be a lot more common for children if they didn't, I said progress exam for the 10-year-olds. If they didn't do well in that progress exam, then they would stay back a year. They wouldn't be put back a year. They didn't use it like that. It didn't have that stigma like it has. They would just stay back a year and then do it again and then move on. But there doesn't seem to be so much of that nowadays. Okay, and so at 15 they do another progress report. But yeah, from the 12 to 15, that's when they do English classes regularly. It goes in with their maths class, their Portuguese class, they have an English class. They can then choose another language they want to as well, like French or Spanish or something like that. And also they can do an extra like arts, music, arts, crafts, computering, informatica, I think it was computering, that kind of thing. Then you move on to the secundaria, which is 10 to 12 years of age, which is 15 to 18. Now, this is if I got this right, someone will correct me if I'm wrong. At this point is where they kind of choose whether they want to go into a professional course or they want to go on theoretically to university. And a professional course would be like learning out or more kind of what I would say on the job stuff. You know, it's like learning to be a welder, learning to be agricultural farming, that kind of thing. They can also go on to do computering and things like that as well, but I don't think it's quite at the advanced levels. And then the other choice is if you want to go on to university. So at 15, the professional lot, they start doing a bit of lessons and doing whatever this skill that they're learning. The university lot, they then choose almost a field that they want to maybe further go. So you have to do a lot of forward thinking, a field of what maybe they'd like to do in university after university. I believe this is what my daughter wrote it all in Portuguese. Fantastic. Choices of lessons options: sciences, technologies, languages and humanities, course of sciences, social economics, visual arts, etc., etc. So then you do that, and then at 18, which is the year 12, you then have your exams. Now, if obviously the exams are primarily for the university people, and depending on how you do in those exams and your various grades, then dictates what universities you can go to and what courses in these universities you can go to. Various universities do similar courses or not, and you have to reach certain grades. And when that happens, you then put when theoretically you pass, depending on your grade, you can then put your first, second, third, and fourth choices of which universities, course and university that you'd like to go to. Now, it might be that in Porto, you only need to get 12 out of 20 to enter their one. It may be the Aveiro one, it's 18 out of 20 to those. So you've got to sort of like judge, you know, by your scores, which ones you can go for them, because those entry levels are based on last year, not on this year. So last year you had to reach. Last year, the minimum person that got in, the last person that got in, reached the level of 12. That's not to say this year that they might be. All the students might do better, and so therefore the level raises, and therefore there are a lot of students that had higher than that. So this year the places got filled up by the people who got to 14 or 15, you know, more than that. Right, there we go. So that's that. University degrees, there's bachelor's. Bachelor's is 3 years. Master's degrees 5 years. There's private schools. There's homeschooling, which Carl knows about. And then there's a Scola Publica, which is what my kids went to. Kids usually go to the school closest to their home. We went, and this is close to home. There's things involved in that as well. If you go close to your home, usually in your district, within your district, you can then, they do free buses, discounted buses, school meals, those sort of things. If you're outside of that, then sometimes you don't get pretty much you don't get that. You have to pay for your bus. You have to pay for extra things. So we went to the, I think I come to that a bit more later on. We went to the Junta, then to the main town hall. And then they sent us to the main school in our area, which is Oliveira de Bairro. So we went there. We needed ID, passport, etc. Now, again, I can't speak too much. My wife and my kids, because of my wife, they've got Portuguese nationality anyway. She's French, Portuguese, English. They're French, Portuguese, English. So they've got all that. So they didn't need maybe as much as maybe English, but that's what they needed. Because my wife had a PT card, so that's all we needed for us. The children needed ID, a residency permit, and also something that I didn't realise that they had to do, and I presume this is still the case. They needed a Portuguese vaccination booklet that's up to date. So they've got to go to your local doctor. You've got to sign up to local doctors. You've got to go to the local doctors. Again, that's residency-based doctors. Don't let them try and tell you that it's contributions based. It's residency based. So anyone, if you're a resident, you're entitled to it. Go there and then get them jabbed up. It might be that they've got it in England. If that's the case, then you get your records from England. You take them to your doctor. Your doctor writes them all in the book. You take that to the school with you. So the child has to get rocked. I've done that. And a photo of the child. You've got to take a photo of the child as well. My wife had a quick look, and it looks like you can do it online now. Certainly some of this process can be done online. It was the website was playing up when my wife was looking at it, so she couldn't get too far into it. And you had to register and everything to get into it. And of course, we didn't have to register because our kids are already passing on it. Books are pretty much free now. When we came, we had to pay for our books for every child. You have to pay for them if they're damaged because they sort of like lend them to you, and then you have to give them back at the end of each term. And if they're damaged, then you pay for the ones that are damaged. Transport is subsidised. It's free up to 15 years of age, buses and that is. And then subsidised 50% up to 18 years by the town hall. Food is subsidised by the town hall anyway, 50%. And then we paid an extra €1.46 for a hot meal. Sometimes they're outsourced, sometimes it's fantastic. So the kids don't eat here, no, go to school, eat everything when you go to school. Make sure you have everything, all courses, double apples, if they're that, so that's fantastic.
Do the kids like the school meals?
Well, my son eats anything, so it would make no difference to him. He'd eat a pig's ear if you put it on his plate. But yes, yeah. But it's all good. It was unfortunately the secondary school they went to, which was like a semi-private school, not the bit that we went into. Unfortunately, I don't know if Carl was here then. A few years ago, they did a lot of cuts, and they started. There was a lot of cuts, and they stopped the kids going to that school. And luckily, my son was on the last year, so it was very good. He managed to do the whole thing through it. But my daughter had to transfer to the Oliveira de Boromain school. They were like a college. Now there, they cooked their own dinners, and it was fantastic. But after that, they started doing like outsourcing it a bit, and then they'd bring in. And so the canteen was there, but they used to bring, truck the food in, and then the dinner ladies are giving out staff, because of the staff and all that sort of stuff, but which is a bit of a shame. But that was that. Social benefits. Now, in my area, a lot of families are on some form of escalon. There's an A, B, and C of escalon, depending on your means. See, that's my wife's word. She's very good, very, very, very gentle about that. Yes, depending. Most families in our area are on some form of, like for example, in my daughter's class, there was one year. I mean, it's not advertised, but there was one year for some reason that it was for something to claim. Oh, I think it was they were giving out at one point. They did free little laptops. People have been here a long time. Well, no, they don't do them now. They did, and they were funny little children's laptops. And there was only one other person in my daughter's year that wasn't on an escalon. Other than us, there was only one other person that wasn't on some kind of social benefit. So that makes you realise, minimum. I mean, you're entitled to it if you're on minimum wage, and which a lot of them are on minimum wage. So it gives you an idea of there's massive differences in the economy in different areas of Portugal, but they're all struggling. Yeah, Austin started at the age of 9, year 4. He was kept 1 year back a bit because he'd been to school he'd done actually a bit of school in France, but he'd been to school primarily in England, just to get him used to the language and all that sort of, because we didn't speak Portuguese at home or anything, even though my wife does it, because we were initially planning on going to France, but we won't go there. Yeah, boo hiss, yeah, wasn't for me. So he started 1 year down, but let's say he's just finished his degree at Aveiro University. Lovely jubbly, yeah, good man. Yeah, very proud of him, love him, lovely lad. My daughter started at age 6, year 1, even though because of the age thing and the way the year started, she had actually done pretty much a year in England, but because of the way the years were in her age, she started at year 1 anyway and went the way through. And she's now been at university studying physics in a very university for a year already. So yes. Another thing: if your kids are starting school, ask about English language lessons there, and they will get either someone in if they haven't got someone there, and they'll give them extra extra Portuguese language lessons as well. Yes.
Terrific.
And free.
That's fantastic. No, that's really helpful because we
Sorry
very
about
rarely.
that, Jack.
No, I think there was.
I could see it glazing over halfway through.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's very useful information for some people. Yeah.
Yeah, and something for everybody in there as well with some of the little avenues you took there, Andy. So thank you so much for doing that. I'm thinking it's 10:15 now. We need to get Andy back with his own regular stand-up slot at some point. And Jack, will you? I mean, maybe a webinar with you would be great for the Brits now who are going through the D7 program. I'm asking you live on air, so it looks bad if you turn me down.
I'm going to say yes, Carl. I'm going to say yes.
That's great. Margarita's here. We'll go real soon, but are you both okay just to conclude here?
Yeah, we're all good, mate. I could hear him scraping away downstairs, mate.
Good. So you stay where you are. Bon dia from Margarita. Good morning to you, Margarita in Lisbon, I believe. Good morning, Portugal. Makes my day start with a buzz. Thanks, guys. In my 17 years, says Colin, Portuguese as soon as they see me start talking in English as well. So another socks and sandals combo wearer there, probably. Glad Andy enjoys the life in full in Portugal. I, on the other hand, just need to be brainwashed. My Scottish family. So maybe one day I can move back. Oh, yes. So Abel is, I love that Portuguese name, Abel, Abel Pinheiro, but love Scotland too. Hard one to decide. Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you could enjoy the best of both worlds, Abel, and we enjoy you tuning into us from time to time. Helen T, g'day. Bon dia from Bermuda.
There's a big Scottish community over here, isn't there?
Is this a joke, Andy, or is
no? Yeah, no, there is a big Scottish expat community over here. There's in Portugal.
There are jokes to be made on that basis, though. We'll come back to that, I hope. Look, you should be played by Michelle Pfeiffer in the movie.
Oh, thank you, Helen.
Who's put that comment twice, which we appreciate. Pork cheeks are very tasty.
Oh yeah.
Cleaning time, nothing wasted here. I think that's what the Portuguese says. The only thing they don't eat is the squeak of the pig there. As a Portuguese, I love seeing these wonderful people from around the world in my country, enjoying life and everything from my country has to offer you. God bless and hope you live in my country forever. How lovely is that? Cleaning time. Thank you so much. Thank you. That is so kind of you. We love your country, says Andrea. Thunderduck, thank you, cleaning time. We've been here 5 months from the States. We love this country, never want to go back. João Ferreira, só tenho de dominar a minha língua adoptiva. Don't worry, you're on the right path, my friend, from João. Some words of encouragement for Andy there. Andy really knows a lot about Portuguese school system. Very good. Says
thank you, Margarita.
That's a good review. He's got a review in already. Free books. All the money my parents wasted in books with my brother.
Yeah, tell me about it. Sheesh.
Yeesh.
Sheesh, get bad.
Yeah. Good thing though. Good to hear, says Elra. Dear Andrew, so we've done that one. Yeah, you're on the right path there, pal. It's amazing how the shows are running longer now. May it long continue. Yes, but our guests are going to want to be paid at this rate. I like you. You write proper pre-accordio autografica Portuguese. So Elra's loving that about you. Birthdays. Every day is a birthday in Portugal. How about that? Croc flips. Hold on. Croc flips are amazing. A pair in the UK and a pair in Portugal can't live without them, says Capricorn 12.
Personal choice.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward silence there. Beverly Maidment, one day from a beautiful September morning in Scotland on the Isle of Mull, counting down to moving to Portugal. Estate agent coming in 15 minutes. Look busy and tidy. Put the bread on, put the coffee on. Let's cross our fingers for a sale there. Where, says Francis, could we find?
We had when I was in my punk band back in the day, we had my mate Darren Greenair. We had selling one of our houses. My dad made my mate hide under the dining room table. The
punks come with the house.
Yeah.
Where could we find this document or info about the schools? This is incredible info. Thanks, Andy. Another great review for you there, mate. It's the only copy. He can post it, but it might not get to you. I think I imagine we can pop that up on the forum, can't we, Andy? Andy and I will figure that out between us if that's available.
Yes,
Public consumption. Thank you so much.
If not, just rewind this. You can watch this over and over again. See my beautiful face.
Yes,
for an eternity.
And the living doll impersonation. Do rewind that part back. Social economics sounds like a subject we need to study in the West. So this is, I think that's a comment, isn't it, on the school system there?
Oh yeah, one of the subjects.
Yeah. Okay, Michelle, thank you for that. And Jack and Andy, which sounds like a children's TV show, doesn't it? It's Jack and Andy. It's Portugal Playtime.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, no, that's out of town. Out of town. Well, that'll do, wouldn't it?
Thank you both so much. And I do want you back in other capacities. You've been amazing. 10:20. I hope you've had fun with us this morning.
Lovely. Great.
Thanks for inviting us, Carl.
Lovely. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Jack.
You too, Andy.
All right, so we will see you again soon. Thanks everybody for your comments as well. Another fun, informative show. Have a lovely day, everyone, from the newly christened Val d'Asteranya by Cindy B there. Okay, folks, have an excellent day. We will see you tomorrow for a bit of Feel Good Friday action. I think Philomena's back and ready to talk to us. So we're going to go. Thanks a lot, Jack. Thanks a lot.
Ciao, Bellas.